Now, ever since last season, it was in the season 2 days, I've been hearing about the manga readers say that there was this big moment that would happen in the 3rd season, and it would blow everyone's minds. And this episode was that moment, and I can definitely understand why so many people would be excited to see something like this animated. And I think it lived up to the hype. Not even knowing what it was just, I heard about it just in reference so much throughout the internet that I thought, there's no way it's going to be that exciting once I see it. Like, I don't know what it is exactly, but they just keep hyping it up. There's no way it can live up. And I think it actually did. Last week was my favorite episode of the series to date, and I said, this episode easily could surpass it. I'm sure it will. And I think they're more or less tied for me personally, just because last week's episode with this week, it's one arc. It's one All Might focused arc, and it's just spectacular to watch. It was absolutely incredible to see how this episode starts off, focusing on All Might in the past, looking at his mentor, but also the revelation that his mentor had a grandson, and that grandson just so happens to be Shigaraki. And I think that revelation was actually really interesting. I mean, it was just so interesting to see the shattering pain in All Might's eyes, to just see what ultimately is going on with his mentor. Like, his mentor is still living inside of him, and then he's been fighting someone that now he's questioning, should he fought against him, or should he have tried to reel him in to the good side there. I thought that was just an excellent reveal. But something that's interesting with how this fight was directed is, this arc has really been about shattering the pillars of society, not letting the general folk trust in the heroes. People are getting kidnapped from the #1 school. How can you trust the heroes? And it really gave me the impression that the trust in heroes was gone. They were very much easy to turn on the heroes, but it seems that there was one person they wouldn't easily turn on, and that was All Might. And that makes sense. All Might's been set out as the symbol of peace. He is the #1 hero for a reason. People look at villains, look at All Might as like their #1 foe. There's one person that they couldn't shatter the image of, and that's All Might. Even when he stands up in his very skinny, almost skeleton form, they don't turn on him. They're scared and like what's going on to their #1 hero, but they still cheer him on. And I think it's actually very interesting how All Might continues to fight, because last week I said, there's no way that All Might should be able to win this fight without having to sacrifice something. I feel like if they did that, it would become a generic shonen. I had trust. I said, My Hero Academia is above being that, and I said that if All Might goes past his limit, similar to Deku when he fought his villain just recently, I think that would be it for his power. And that's ultimately what happened. All Might is now going to be forced into hero retirement. Obviously, we know that he's still going to train Deku, but that's the sacrifice that was needed, because All Might pushing himself, using the last bit of that ember to fight his #1 villain, that's the type of sacrifice I want to see. I don't want to see a #1 hero get out of this alive, still be able to use his power and fight crime to full strength. Like, this is the type of stuff I like to see when a shonen, a battle shonen, can pull the punches like this, especially just really direct it and have it so eerie. Like, this guy is getting his ass handed to him. There's no way in any way that he should be able to beat him. And it's not like he got some power of friendship power up. Like, we know how his power works, and we know how it gets passed on from generation to generation. We know you can go past that limit, but going past that limit has severe consequences, as seen with Deku and his kind of failing body if he keeps up what he's doing. But this is the one time All Might's going above his limit and really putting his everything into it, how he's transferring his power over from one arm to the other. And then when you finally see him just victorious and he stands up and he uses the last little bit of his energy to put it all throughout his body and kind of stand up in his strong muscular form, it was good. It was emotional. It really landed with the viewer, at least for myself. And I love the moment where he points to the screen and says, "You're next." And society is just thinking like, it's All Might, he's our #1 hero, he's telling the villains to not cross him. But in actuality, he's telling Deku, you're next in line, it's your time to shine. And I thought that was such an emotional way to wrap up the episode. Like, All Might got his victory. His #1 villain is going to prison, he's going to be locked up, hopefully he can't do anything else. However, he's no longer #1. Endeavor, if he fully retires, Endeavor's going to be #1, but Deku still needs to train and build his muscle mass, build everything around him up, and he's far from ready to be the next pillar of society. However, he has that potential, and I'm going to be very interested to see how Deku's relationship with Shigaraki is going to go, because All Might obviously would want to save him, at least I think after learning about his connection to his master, but I think Deku is going to be the one to save him. I think Shigaraki is going to be Deku's main opponent, and I think he's going to be the one to save his heart. He's not going to let him just be thrown in jail to rot away. I think there's still potential. We see that he was being used, so I still think there'd be a way to pull him away near the end of the series, and I think that's going to be Deku's kind of goal and kind of reason to fight. I think something like that's going to happen, but I think this episode did a lot. It was a lot of action, but the way they directed it, having that eerie music just really go up your spine, make you feel for All Might. Like, I figured All Might would win, but there was some moments there I was just like, how is this going to go down? Is his image going down the drain? Is someone going to get killed? A civilian? Like, what's going to happen? But I think when the heroes show up and they're saying, like, you're still our #1 hero, the crowd's still cheering, it gave you a bit more hope for this society. The trust in society for me has kind of gone down the drain this season. They're very much backstabbing on the people they should be supporting, but I'm glad that they didn't betray the idol, the icon that everyone worships, villains alike. So I think it actually makes a whole lot of sense. This arc was definitely the best arc in My Hero Academia to date, and I know it can just get better, but this All Might kind of like conclusion, you can say, because the conclusion of him being a hero, it was just excellently done. It was well written, it was well directed. They did a lot of very interesting moves with the animation, going a little more abstract and kind of like jagged to really make it feel like there was two forces you didn't want clashing that were clashing it, and there's just like a nuclear bomb going off. The United States of Smash was just exhilarating to see how it was animated. And I think the way they wrapped up this episode was just fantastic in every way, shape, or form. Last week with this week, just putting them into one package, this is just the staple of what My Hero Academia can be. It was excellently done. Let me know what you're feeling down in that comment section below. Manga readers, anime originals like myself, what did you think of the episode? Let me know down in that comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like, and if you're new, also be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.